So was that just you applying to be an extra, or did someone from OVW recommend you?
I think both. I was registered on the website to be an extra, but I also know that I was never told who, so I can't name any names because I don't know. But I remember Danny Davis telling me that about a month or two before my contract went out with TNA, that WWE was calling about me, and that he put in a good word. And then shortly after my TNA release, I remember because I had just finished a match where I was wearing my black and white gear. And somebody got this tan makeup all over it. Disaster. I remember that. And I heard that WWE had called again, but they didn't contact me or anything. And then I was registered on the website. And then fast forward, I think Detroit was my first extra appearance for WWE. That's where I met people like Eva Marie. I met Cameron. I met like a bunch of people. Let me see. Yeah, and that's how it kind of started. And then it started happening more from there because I was registered on the website and they started to be more familiar with me and my work and stuff. And then just under a year later is when I got my tryout. But one of the experiences as an extra, I believe to this day, is how I got that tryout.
And which one was that? What happened?
It was in Michigan. And it was myself, Scarlett Bordeaux, Ruby Riot, a Canadian, Leah Von Dutch, a girl that hadn't had any matches yet. She had just started training at OVW like a month earlier. I had met her there. Her name was Hannah. She's since gone on to do a couple things with TNA. And then some men as well that were extras. And we get told it's a 3-day loop. So we were there for the pay-per-view on the Sunday. Then we had the Monday Night Raw and then the tapings for SmackDown. So we found out on Monday that we could all have matches on Tuesday because William Regal was definitely going to be there. You always have the matches when William Regal was there, which is from my experience. I know it can be different for others. So I had this match planned with Leah Von Dutch. Scarlett Bordeaux was going to wrestle Ruby Riot. And then there was some of the men, including Jimmy Jacobs. Jimmy Jacobs did the extra spot too at that time. And that was right before they signed him to be like a writer and stuff. So yeah, I had brand new gear made up. It was like the debut of like my new look that you would end up seeing at Ring of Honor. And I remember two of the agents came over to me and told me that they wanted me to be judged on my workability and not my assets. And so I had to go change out my gear. They said that they didn't want like other women being jealous or something. So I was like, okay, so now I'm feeling like really nervous and really like crappy and all this other stuff. So I'm heading to the back. I put on my yoga pants, my wrestling boots and knee pads, and then I had this aerial tank top. And I'm like, I look like such a dork, right? Like red hair, wearing an aerial tank top. I mean, come on, Taylor. Like, how are you going to pull this off? Like, what are you doing? Yeah, this is bad self-talk. And so I'm like all down and like nervous and like, oh, great. Instead of looking like a superstar, I look like I don't know my hand from my elbow. I walked by Brandy Rhodes and she basically gave me this really awesome uplifting compliment about how my shirt and I looked alike and it looked really adorable and stuff. And I was like, wow, she didn't need to say that. She had no idea why I was in that outfit. So I just thought that was really nice. I continued on my way. And when I get back into the arena area where the ring is, I find out that in my absence, I was elected to wrestle not once, which I already knew, twice, because nobody else wanted to have that match. And I was like, oh, okay. So elect the girl that wasn't there to defend herself. Awesome, right? I'm sure you've seen it. So the girl Hannah, I guess while I was gone, decided that she wanted to wrestle. And everybody had their stuff, wanted to show WWE scouts their best possible selves. It makes sense, whatever. And so I got elected to wrestle her. And by the time I get back and I find this out, there's no more talking at all. Like you now have to go watch the matches. And while I was gone, because there was an extra match added, my match got moved. So instead of being match number 1, I was match number 3. And then there was 1 or 2 matches, and then I had to wrestle again. So my first match didn't go so great. And so then I have to wrestle this girl that's never wrestled before, right? And I remember on my way back, Hannibal, walking by everybody to go back to change out of my gear, I heard her say something about a sunset flip, right? Just in passing. I didn't pay it any mind. So a Ring of Honor referee is also at this tryout. He wanted to get looked at to be a WWE ref. I'm going through the ropes like this. I'm going to get in, Hannibal, and he goes, so what's the finish? And I looked at him and I was like, I have no idea. And I gave him a smile, and then I acted like I was talking crap. I knew I was going to be a heel. I had to be. There was no other way around it. But, you know, I'm trying to figure out, flying by the seat of my pants, basically. And then I get in. I'm finally in. I noticed, like, there's a pretend camera that nobody else noticed. I was like, huh, I thought they weren't doing the camera thing. So then in my head, I was like, if I see a camera, I'm going to play to it, and I'll be the only one that's going to play to it. Watch. And I was, but I'll get to that. And I turn back and I look at the ref and I'm like, it's going to be a sunset flip. And I decided right then and there that the finish to my match was going to be a really quick sunset flip. And I told him, I was like, go tell her to babyface the crowd right now and be like, yay. And as soon as she turned her back to me, I immediately jumped her to just take control of the entire situation, which is what Rip Rogers taught us at OVW. I started putting a heat on her right away, facing her towards that camera, working all the agents in the crowd. The Bellas were there up and high up. Naomi was there. Dolph Ziggler was there. Sandow was there. Cody was there. The Miz was there. And then on the watching, you know, around by the ring was Dustin Rhodes. He was one of the people in charge of it at that point. William Regal, Scott Armstrong, Joey Mercury. I want to say Billy Kidman, but I'm not quite sure about that one. And then I put her in this basic hold, and I have her start working up. I snap her back down, put her in a variation of that same hold, have her work up a different way, snap her back down a different way after she does a little bit more and a little bit more. And then I tell her, kick out. I pinned her. I told her, kick out right now. She did. And I was like, now the next time that you work out of this, you are going to get desperate and you're going to go. And I get her to start working up, right? Hannibal, working up. I fire her into the corner and I tell her, fire up on me. She had no idea what that meant. And I was like, and I was like, anything, harder, faster, now. And then she sold my headbutt really poorly, so I didn't do it again. She didn't know any better. I brought her to the ropes and I said, duck 1, duck 2, sunset flip. And by God, she did it. And she pinned me 1, 2, 3. And as soon as I kicked out after the 3, and I was like, get out now. And I tried to like grab her and attack her. And to her credit, she got out. And I actually got a standing ovation from the agents for that. And they put me over as being like the only one that like worked a pretend crowd and a camera. And they're like, you're the only one that didn't put yourself over. And it was clear. They said it was clear that you were leading that and made her look good. And that felt good to me. It was like people that have way more experience than me and way more knowledge worthwhile of learning from said that kind of stuff to me. And that was an experience where I could have just been set up to fail, you know, and I'm sure you can relate. And I was able to turn it around, and I didn't even realize that I could. But like I said earlier, that training, it's always there. You know, once you got it, you got it. And that made me feel like, oh, wow, maybe I didn't waste my life in this business, you know. And not long after that, some people called OVW, asked some questions about me. I guess I got a really good review, and I got a WWE tryout.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.